My entrepreneurial journey started in my 20s with a fun side business that ended up generating more income than my 9-to-5 desk job. One of the big highs on that journey was co-founding a music marketing technology company that, a decade later, is now thriving with 80 full-time employees. But just a few years after launching that business, I experienced a health crisis and was forced to take a step back from entrepreneurship. At that point, I thought that being an entrepreneur meant sacrificing health, relationships, and time to pursue other passions. And then the entrepreneurial operating system changed my life. I had never learned that leadership doesn't have to mean chaos and stress. 19 out of 20, fully 95% of business owners or entrepreneurs were incredibly committed, but lived in a state of constant chaos. Right? You as a business owner, most business owners, all business owners start the business because they want to control their destiny and their life, and 19 times out of 20, the business ends up controlling them. 5%, 1 out of 20, were running truly great businesses, making demonstrable, measurable progress every day towards the achievement of their vision with a sense of balance. So Gino, it's like, what are these 5% doing differently? So that led to this obsession to figure it out and to create a framework that would allow all business owners to have that same sense of balance while getting what they want out of their business. The second discovery he had is that every business owner in the history of entrepreneurism wrestles with about 130 issues at any given time. And those issues are just painful symptoms, right? Symptoms in the business that manifest as pain. And those 1 out of 20, the way they move in the business, the way they breathe, they were able to get down past those symptoms to the root causes of those 130 issues and solve issues as they arose at the root for the greater good of the business forever. So that really, those two discoveries are what drove Gino. You're not going to find anything novel or new. I mean, these are timeless concepts that have been around for 100 years, will probably be around for another 1,000. What Gino did was create this framework to make them tools that are actionable for entrepreneurs to inject in their business and give them a framework that will unleash your creativity, your entrepreneurial spirit, your agility.
Before I get too deep into this, I want to frame up the power of this document. So when I came back from boot camp academy, I was drinking the EOS Kool-Aid. I'm all excited. I'm exhausted, but I'm fired up, just much like I'm sure you guys are going to feel. And someone at the training had handed me a copy of the Family VTO. So there's a version of this. It looks 90% the same, but it's some tweaks and nuances designed for a familial leadership team. You can do it for yourself too. Family/personal VTO. So I come home, say to my wife, we got to do this together. Like, I just think it's, you've supported me moving from this back into this crazy solopreneur lifestyle, and leaving a good job with a good income, and you should understand this. I think it would be a good way for me to practice, and I just think it would be a healthy exercise. So first Saturday I'm home, we put our probably 1.5, 2-year-old down to bed, open up a bottle of wine, sit down at the kitchen table, start working through this. And it quickly became, well, first let me say that I'm very fortunate. I outkicked my coverage with my wife. I think I just kept her like mildly buzzed for 6 months. And definitely when I proposed and she said yes, then she sobered up and was like, what happened? So I'm a lucky guy. And we have a really great relationship, not perfect, like no relationship's perfect, but she's my best friend. I'm incredibly blessed to have the wife that I do. But we started working through answering these questions, and it quickly became apparent that not only were there things that we hadn't ever talked about, but there were actually elements of our life that we didn't agree about. We didn't agree on, and we started to have some healthy conflict. We're one of those couples that, like, why does everyone argue? We never argue. We're like, well, shit, maybe we should argue a little bit. Like, we have some questions we've got to answer together. And we realized we've been living very reactive lives, very kind of bouncing around from one trip and event and obligation and family thing and holiday and, kid event to another, just without intention. And so as we worked through this document, we started to get clarity. We started to crystallize what's important to us. What filters and criteria did we want to use to make important decisions in our lives? What values did we want to instill in our son with intention? And we walked away from that kitchen table. It took us about an hour and a half with a nice solid wine buzz. And more alignment than we had ever had as a couple. Like, not friendship or romantic connection, but alignment as a system, as a unit, as a leadership team. And now every 90 days we come back together, we reconnect, we review, we realign. We open up a bottle of Dow. Anybody had it? That's our VTO wine, Dow Cabernet. We run L10s every week too, by the way. As a husband and wife. That's the power of this document. What it can do for a leadership team, whether it's a family or a business, alignment, clarity.
It was transformational and inspired me to devote my career to helping leadership teams experience the same freedom from frustration and stress that EOS made possible for me.